For well over 30 years now, Monday Night Raw has predominantly been the flagship show for the WWE, showcasing the biggest and best superstars of all time, with the biggest moments and most memorable and heated rivalries taking place, capturing fans' imaginations all over the globe. But after all these years, and so many memorable moments, who exactly are the all-time greats of the red brand on Monday nights? Who helped form the show into what it is today, and who made it their very own? This list is in no particular order, but what better place to start than with Monday night's biggest star ever, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Starting off with perhaps the greatest star in Raw history, Stone Cold Steve Austin helped elevate the WWE during the Attitude Era on Monday Night Raw to heights the company had never seen before. His legendary feud with Vince McMahon broke records and changed the industry forever, eventually delivering the WWE the win in the Monday Night Wars against WCW. It was during this time that Stone Cold's 316 persona ran wild throughout WWE, and with Vince McMahon trying everything he could to stop the rattlesnake, Stone Cold effectively turned Monday Night Raw into his own personal playground. If he wasn't throwing beer baths or opening a can of whoop ass, he was busy destroying automobiles with his monster truck, or even running the company at one point as CEO. You could always be sure that chaos would ensue as the infamous glass shatter rang out throughout the arena. Stone Cold's 316 t-shirt is the highest selling in WWE history, and his countless feuds throughout the years against the likes of The Rock, Undertaker, Kane, Mankind, Triple H and many more still live on to this day. As Stone Cold approached his retirement, he would take on the general manager and sheriff role of Monday Night Raw, counterbalancing Eric Bischoff and still raising hell to keep the roster in check. Stone Cold still makes appearances throughout the years, with no pop ever matching the Texas Rattlesnakes entrance, proving that Monday Night Raw is the Stone Cold show. Triple H. Another iconic superstar in Raw history is the Game Triple H, now WWE CEO. The Game has come a long way from his days as Hunter Hearst Helmsley to running amok with D-Generation X and Evolution, to becoming the King of Kings. Triple H is another star who has helped pave the way and make Monday Night Raw the show that it is today. The perfect antagonist in a crowded landscape at the time during the Attitude Era, with The Rock and Stone Cold fighting to be the company's number one babyface. Triple H saw this as an opportunity to become the company's number one heel during this time and never looked back. From marrying a drunk Stephanie McMahon at a Las Vegas drive-thru, from terrorizing the roster as part of DX, capturing the WWE Championship on numerous occasions, to returning from a career-threatening quad tour in Madison Square Garden, and the rise of Evolution, eventually putting over Randy Orton and Batista, plus the Reign of Terror. Triple H's impact on Monday Night Raw is undeniable. Many fans look back on Triple H's Reign of Terror as a low point in the show's history, but it did give birth to Evolution, as well as a number of memorable feuds with the likes of Kane, Booker T, Shawn Michaels and Rob Van Dam. Fast forward to modern day, and even shortly after his retirement from the ring, Triple H would blur the lines of reality and use his real job as an executive backstage to form the Authority, which helped give birth to Daniel Bryan's Yes Movement and Sting's debut within the WWE. Now as WWE CEO, Triple H continues to transform the landscape of Monday Night Raw in his image. The Rock. Before the most electrifying man in all of sports entertainment became a Hollywood megastar, head of TKO Group, and now the final boss, The Rock is perhaps the most recognisable name in WWE history. And whilst the Great One may have christened SmackDown as his show, years before the blue brand existed, The Rock would begin to pave his way to greatness by making a name for himself on WWE Raw. From acknowledging the Die Rocky Die chants with the Nation of Domination in 1997, to carrying the company as WWE Champion as the top babyface in the 2000s after Stone Cold went down with a neck injury, to his more recent returns to feud with the likes of John Cena and Cody Rhodes with the Bloodline. The Rock has had countless memorable moments throughout Monday Night Raw's history. Some of The Rock's most memorable Raw moments feature his defining saga with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and going face to face with the likes of Hulk Hogan, to tag teaming with Mankind as the Rock and Sock Connection, which would eventually lead to what would be Raw's highest viewed segment ever with Mankind, surprising The Rock with his own This Is Your Life segment, where he would take The Rock down memory lane in one of the best comedic segments in WWE history. The Rock would of course return to the WWE in 2011 for a 3-year feud with John Cena, which drew much more attention to the product at the time, and lately returned again in 2024 to begin a whole new phase of the Great One's career as the final boss, siding with the Bloodline and Roman Reigns to try and derail Cody Rhodes' WWE title pursuit. Mankind. Another fan favourite that helped transform the WWE during the Attitude Era was Mick Foley, better known as one of his three faces of Foley: Mankind, Cactus Jack, or Dude Love. Mick Foley would portray the Mankind character for the majority of his time in the WWE and would create countless memorable moments throughout the show's history. Fans became emotionally invested in him because of the sacrifice he put his body through and his unique way of expressing himself on the microphone, from his revolutionary sit-down interviews with JR Jim Ross in 1997, as well as the debut of Cactus Jack against Triple H, to accomplishing his boyhood dream by defeating The Rock for the WWE title in 1998, to the This Is Your Life segment with The Rock in 1999, and even after his retirement in 2000, Foley would become one of the best general managers in Monday Night Raw history, and he would also go on to help elevate the younger talent such as Edge and Randy Orton, along with others in some fan favourite feuds and matches, and would also become co-GM alongside Stephanie McMahon in 2016. Foley is a key part of WWE's Attitude Era and a masterful storyteller. Bret Hart. During the first 4 years of Monday Night Raw, the best there is, was, and ever will be, Bret the Hitman Hart put the show and company on his back as their top megastar. Bret Hart was a hero for many during the early days of Raw. He was a noble fighter, more interested in earning respect and collecting championships than inflating his ego. His heated rivalry with Jerry the King Lawler, which spanned over 2 years before culminating in 1995, showed just how hot an angle could be that wasn't surrounded by the world title, although the arrival of the Rattlesnake in Stone Cold Steve Austin and the change in American culture would put an end to that as the 1990s progressed. In 1997, however, Bret Hart underwent a historic turn, becoming an anti-American villain, despising the new attitude of the USA as Bret was from Canada. As the leader of the Hart Foundation, his war with Stone Cold Steve Austin paved the way for the Attitude Era, and nearing the end of Bret's run with the company, his rivalry with Shawn Michaels, both professionally and personally, made Monday Night Raw can't-miss programming. The very real shots each man took at each other on Monday nights were intriguing and entertaining on a level no writing team could ever match. Sadly, the feud between Shawn and Bret would result in Bret leaving the company in 1997 after the infamous Montreal Screwjob at the Survivor Series. In 2010, however, Bret Hart returned to Raw and reconciled with Shawn Michaels before entering a feud with Vince McMahon. It was a fitting conclusion to one of the most competitive and controversial rivalries in the history of Monday Night Wrestling. The Undertaker. Throughout the over 30-year history of Monday Night Raw, from episode 1, there has always been one constant in the WWE, and that is The Undertaker. The dead man has gone through numerous transformations during this time, and has had countless memorable moments throughout the show's history, even standing by Vince McMahon during the Monday Night Wars to help steer the ship to success. The Undertaker's legacy is like none other. From the early days of Raw, battling the likes of Yokozuna and Ted DiBiase, evolving into the likes of Mankind, Bret Hart and Diesel, to Shawn Michaels, Triple H and Stone Cold, all the way up to modern day with the likes of Bray Wyatt, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. The Phenom is a cornerstone of the WWE, and his imprint on Monday Night Raw cannot be denied. The debut of the Ministry of Darkness went on to dominate Monday nights, leaving even Vince McMahon shaking before forming with him to make the Corporate Ministry, a truly terrifying stable in both iterations that ran the WWE with terror. Even later on in his career, after becoming synonymous with the SmackDown brand in the mid-2000s, The Undertaker to this day still leaves a memorable impression every time he shows up on Monday nights. The Undertaker will forever be one of the WWE's franchise players, and there is no better evidence of that than his involvement in Monday Night Raw over the years. Kane. Before his legendary debut in 1997, Kane was also part of Raw 2 years beforehand with his infamous gimmick Isaac Yankem. However, the Kane we know and love today would make a lasting impression on the industry, matched by no other. A real-life horror movie in front of your eyes, Kane was WWE's version of Jason. After being introduced by Paul Bearer to take out The Undertaker and embark on their legendary rivalry, Kane would cause havoc across the company, with many of his memorable moments occurring on Monday nights. Kane was a fresh new character with supernatural powers similar to his kayfabe brother The Undertaker, and that immediately captured the imagination of viewers. Kane would go on to capture numerous championships during his career and would have countless rivalries against legends the likes of Stone Cold, Big Show, The Rock, Mankind, Triple H and many more. Kane could move at frightening speeds for a man of his size and showcased impressive power every time. Kane would also be a part of the first Hell in a Cell match to feature on Monday Night Raw in 1998 against Mankind, and in the early 2000s, after the first WWE brand split, Monday nights eventually became to revolve around Kane, from the infamous Katie Vick angle with Triple H and a fake deceased girlfriend of Kane, to the shocking unmasking after losing to Triple H, to going insane and setting JR Jim Ross on fire, and entering a heated rivalry with Shane McMahon, where he would even go on to electrocute Shane's testicles. Kane would also lose his only WWE title reign after 24 hours, losing to Stone Cold Steve Austin, and have memorable feuds with the likes of Matt Hardy, Edge, and Lita, even kayfabe marrying and impregnating her. Kane would also even destroy an imposter version of himself during a brief rivalry in 2006, and Kane's imprint overall on Monday nights is undeniable, with countless memories, and he has created some of the most talked about moments in the show's history. John Cena. Although Cena would start off his career over on the SmackDown brand, he would go on to be the figurehead of Monday nights after being drafted to the Red brand in 2005. Cena would hold down the show for nearly a decade, and much like all of the greats before him, Cena helped define WWE's PG era as the face of the company, leading the flagship show throughout as WWE Champion. John Cena's accomplishments on Raw are up there with the best, from a legendary 60-minute match with Shawn Michaels in London, England, to a heated feud with Edge and Lita which saw the pair battle from hotel rooms, to Rivers, and even interrupting Edge's live sex celebration, all eventually helping elevate Edge to the next level. Cena would also have countless matches with the likes of Randy Orton, in a feud that also helped define the era with two of its top stars facing off as bitter rivals. Cena would also be the target of a returning Brock Lesnar back in 2012, even to more modern times with Cena's Open United States title challenge, putting on countless memorable matches and allowing the younger talent time to showcase what they're all about. And who could ever forget his legendary rivalry with The Rock, which would unfold on Monday nights. Cena would also help elevate CM Punk to the next level, as both men would enter an intense rivalry to become the company's #1 guy. Love him or hate him, whether you can see him or not, John Cena is still one of the WWE's most recognisable and most popular stars of all time. Shawn Michaels. Just like The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels would appear on the very first episode of Monday Night Raw back in 1993 and help define the early eras of the show, from feuding with the likes of Razor Ramon over the Intercontinental Championship to Diesel for the WWE Championship. Michaels would go on to become the face of the company in the mid-90s, rivaling Bret Hart for the top position. Shawn's feuds with the likes of Davey Boy Smith, Owen Hart, Mankind, Vader, and Sid have all helped carry the WWE through rough waters after being pummeled in the ratings by WCW. However, in 1997, the feud between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart would help set the tone to define what would become the Attitude Era. After the infamous Montreal Screwjob, Michaels would remain the face of the company, even helping form DX alongside Triple H before eventually having to take 4 years out due to an injured back. Michaels would appear on TV in a non-wrestling role as Raw Commissioner in the late 90s, before disappearing again and returning in 2002, embarking on a legendary run on the Raw brand by having a legendary feud with Triple H, and also taking on the likes of Goldberg, Kane, Edge, Batista, Randy Orton, and many more. Shawn Michaels would also have his iconic 1-hour match with John Cena in 2007 from London, England on Raw, and even to this day makes surprise appearances from time to time. Michaels now runs NXT as general manager, but for over years, Shawn Michaels has provided fans with memories and performances on Monday Night Raw that rank amongst the greatest in the show's history. CM Punk. Although Punk's beginning in the WWE stemmed from ECW and SmackDown, it was Punk's arrival on Monday nights that really catapulted him into superstardom. Before the well-known pipe bomb from July 2011, where Punk would open up about how he really felt about the company, Punk would also make an impact during his early years on Raw by cashing in his Money in the Bank contract on Edge to become the World Champion in 2008, and also won the Tag Team titles and Intercontinental Championship on the show. Punk would go on to form the New Nexus, and after their disbandment, Punk would then fly under the radar on Raw until his pipe bomb shook the foundations of the wrestling world, slotting him into a WWE Championship feud with John Cena. Punk would eventually go on to win the title and dominate Monday nights with feuds against the likes of John Cena, Triple H, Jerry Lawler, The Shield, Kevin Nash, and many more. Punk would go on to have one of the longest WWE title reigns of the modern era, with 424 days as champion, and even took out The Rock to close the show at Raw 1000. Punk would eventually lose the title to The Rock and go on to enter a memorable feud with The Undertaker, which would culminate at WrestleMania 29. However, after nagging injuries and backstage politics brought him into breaking point, Punk would leave the WWE for 9 years before making a shocking return at the 2023 Survivor Series, and would officially sign back with Monday Night Raw to begin a whole brand new era on Monday nights for the voice of the voiceless. Chris Jericho. In 1999, a Millennium Countdown clock appeared on Raw, seemingly counting down the arrival of a revolutionary superstar. Despite most people knowing it was Chris Jericho that would debut, he received a tremendous reaction, and from day one, after interrupting The Rock during a promo, was treated as a big deal ever since. His debut is a defining moment in Monday Night Raw history, even naming the show his own as Raw is Jericho. Over the years, Jericho would go on to feud with the industry's top stars on Monday nights, even upsetting Triple H for the WWE title in 2000 before the decision was reversed. Jericho would be catapulted into the main event scene a year later and would help carry the show as undisputed champion. Jericho would move up and down the card during his lengthy career, from iconic comedic segments with the likes of The List is Jericho to his own talk show known as the Highlight Reel. Jericho was one of the best all-around performers on the roster, on the mic and in the ring. He would not only gain multiple championship wins, but also put on memorable feuds with the tag team and intercontinental title divisions, as well as more personal storylines with the likes of Christian, Trish Stratus, Triple H, Chris Benoit, The Rock, Stone Cold, Kurt Angle, Kane, John Cena, and many more. Jericho was constantly able to evolve his character with the times, and a perfect example of this was during his rivalry with Shawn Michaels, especially in 2008, which helped Jericho solidify himself as one of the all-time greats. Jericho's imprint on Monday nights is undeniable, and even in more recent times with the likes of rivaling with CM Punk to Kevin Owens in the infamous Festival of Friendship segment. It was soon after that in 2018, Jericho would leave the WWE to help build rival promotion AEW, but never say never for the return of Raw is Jericho. Randy Orton. After starting off his career over on SmackDown in early 2002, it wasn't long before Orton arrived on Monday nights later that same year and never looked back. Orton would be chosen by Evolution alongside Batista, with Triple H and Ric Flair to form the mega stable that would dominate Monday Night Raw for years. It was during this time that Orton captured his first singles championship with the Intercontinental title by defeating Rob Van Dam. He would go on to have some great feuds in the mid-cards and take out a number of legends along the way with his legend killer persona. But it would be his iconic feud with Mick Foley that really pushed Orton to the next level and legitimised him. Orton would also be kicked out of Evolution after becoming the youngest world champion in WWE history, defeating Chris Benoit for the title at age 24. As time went on, Orton would join forces with Edge to form the team of Rated RKO to capture the tag team titles and begin a lengthy feud with DX. He would also gather his own stable of a young Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase Jr. known as Legacy. As the years passed, Orton continually improved as a performer and entered lengthy feuds with the likes of Shawn Michaels, John Cena, Triple H and many more. But it was his feud with Triple H in 2009 on the build-up to WrestleMania 25 that gave fans some of Raw's most memorable moments, from Triple H invading Orton's house to Orton handcuffing Triple H to the ring ropes whilst DDTing and kissing an unconscious Stephanie McMahon. Orton was a white-hot heel during this time, and the #1 heel on the roster. His feud with John Cena would also show just how brutal Orton could be, from assaulting Cena's father to trying and injuring Cena. The pair would also feud over the unification of both WWE World titles in 2013, and Orton would also become a part of Triple H's Authority stable, reigning terror over the Red brand in the late 2010s. Orton would appear occasionally on Raw during his feud with The Fiend, Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss, but in more modern times Orton spends the majority of his career now over on SmackDown, working with the younger talent. Orton is seen as a face and beloved by fans worldwide nowadays, but the Viper's impact on Monday Night Raw cannot be denied. Seth Rollins. After the Shield's debut in 2012, they would help make Monday nights more exciting again. The trio would dominate the roster for numerous years, from destroying the likes of The Rock and Evolution. However, after the trio broke up, with Rollins turning heel and blasting his Shield teammates with a chair in the back, Rollins would join forces with Triple H's Authority and go from winning the Money in the Bank contract, feuding with Dean Ambrose for most of the year in a heated blood feud, to becoming WWE Champion, Universal Champion and World Heavyweight Champion, holding down Monday nights as the most reliable star on WWE's roster. As Roman Reigns would begin to dominate SmackDown and Dean Ambrose finding a new home in AEW, Rollins went on to prove himself to be a workhorse on Monday nights, putting on countless classic matchups and competing nearly every single week. Rollins would also feud over the United States title and Intercontinental titles, as well as the tag titles during his time on Monday nights, and has been a constant figure in the main event scene for the past decade. Rollins would go on to reinvent himself from the Monday Night Messiah and his gruesome feud with Rey Mysterio during the COVID era of Raw to the drip god of more modern times. There's a reason Seth freaking Rollins calls Raw Monday Night Rollins. The Architect has recently been praised for his lengthy world title run on the Red brand while suffering nagging injuries and playing a key part in helping Cody finish his story against the likes of The Rock and Roman Reigns. While Seth takes off some much deserved recovery time, you can be sure that his return to Monday nights will only solidify him further as one of the all-time greats on Monday Night Raw. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more wrestling content.